Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I shall talk about the appeal of the word bearers. That means why I like them and why I think they are amazing. There's a little disclaimer at the start. There will be a spoiler for word bearer centric books like the Betrayer and the Lorgar Primarch book. If you haven't read those, I wouldn't recommend you listening to the video. Also, I will talk a little bit about real world stuff. So I will talk about a little bit of religion. I won't draw parallels from the word bearers to other religions. So don't be afraid. But I will mention a couple of things. So at the start, no, there will be some real world stuff. Don't get angry. It's not what you think. It's just a little bit, a little talk. Okay? Don't get angry, please. The Imperial Heralds were, like the name suggests, the unquestioned avatars of imperial truth, destroying idols of superstition and bringing forth the new way of living. It's quite ironic that they turned into what they made to destroy. Lorgar, their Primarch, used that fanaticism to fuel their zealotry into the Letitio Divinitatis, which just set them on a dark path. In the Unification Wars, the Word Bearers, or Imperial Heralds back in the day, destroyed a whole hive with fire and wrath because they didn't want to let go of superstition. That's why it's quite ironic when you know what the word bearers become at the end of their journey. The story of Lorgar is the story of a special child being found by an evil man. It kinda draws parallels from the prophet stories of Abrahamic religions, and he endured hardship. Corpharon, he endured him. False faith, and then what the people of cultures and him didn't understand, he got visions, thinking that he got visions from a new faith and a new deity, but it was just the emperor reaching through the warp to talk to Lorgar. So then the emperor found him after Lorgar subdued cultures in a religious civil war. And he did not chastise him then, and telling him he's wrong, that the emperor is no god. He took him to Terra, where he debated the universe with Magnus. But the emperor did never make an effort to undermine Lorgar's belief. He let them grow and fester, and soon almost all the Imperial Heralds became the bearers of the word. So basically, Lorgar taught his sons the Lectitio Divinitatis, and they all became the word bearers then. So they did actually, they were like the Space Marines of nowadays. So the Crusade word bearers are the Space Marines of nowadays, with their incense and their oath of moment, because they didn't have purity seals back in the day, or I believe they didn't have them. So they had the oath of moment and pages of the Lectitio Divinitatis bound to their armor, and then they basically turned into crusaders. They turned into crusaders, not for the imperial truth though, but for the Lectitio Divinitatis. And then something happened that shook all the word bearers, and that was the culling of Kur. The culling of Kur. The emperor of mankind did find out, after all, the word bearers are slow in their conquest of the galaxy, and in fact they were one of the bigger legions because they didn't see combat that often. This was 60 years before the heresy, and the 100k of the word bearers were actually a lot. It was a big legion. The emperor did task Rubuti Gilliman, the Lord of Ultramar, to secure the perfect city Monarchia and the rest of the Curb system. Maybe because he knew that there was an underlying conflict between the two Primarchs, or because he knew that the Ultramarines will fulfill their task with utter perfection and supreme planning, like we know from the Ultramarines. While Gilliman was building up Ultramar, the 500 worlds, I don't know if it was 500 worlds quite then, but he was building an empire. Basically, the Wordbearers did only bring 13 systems into compliance. So the Emperor decided to not destroy them, like they did with the 2nd and 11th Legion, but to punish them by destroying the perfect idol they created, Monarchia, the perfect city, as the Wordbearers call it. Looking at their Primarch, arguing with Gilliman and Malcador, Lorgar was furious and called them blasphemers and heretics. I know, how ironic! And after Lorgar attacked the Sigillite, which the Sigillite could have ended Lorgar's life right there, the spectacle started, so everything got like really bad. The Wordbearers land on Kur, they go to Monarchia, they go to the biggest square of Monarchia, basically the city is destroyed, and they find out that Lorgar's already there arguing with Reboot Gilliman and the Sigillite, and yeah, then Lorgar attacks the Sigillite, and this happens. He calls to the heavens, but not with his voice, but with a psychic voice, so that every Wordbearer on the plaza could hear him. He shouted to the skies and said, "You listen him. You listen him. You hear him, my master. He won't be argued with." And then the Emperor descended in golden light, blinding them all except the Ultramarines and Gilliman and Malcador, forcing them to their knees. And then he forced them to kneel, which they found very, I don't know how to say it, they find it very perverse to be forced to kneel, because it's forced worship, and that's not what they did. They wanted to worship him, but at that moment he made them kneel, and that didn't sit well with a lot of the Wordbearers. And then he told Lorgar and the Wordbearers in front of them that they are the only legion that failed the Emperor, and that they need to change in front of Gilliman and the Ultramarines. And he brought custodians with him to watch over the Wordbearers. This act broke Lorgar completely, and it made him fall into the hands of dark beings already lingering in his legion. So after their religion, the Imperial's truth, was pretty much stripped from them, they fell into a hole, and Erebus and Cor Pharon came out of the dark like a serpent, trying to poison Lorgar yet again, and they succeeded. Lorgar at first didn't want to take it all, but then they replaced the teachings of the Lectitio Divinitatis with a true belief in evil. Reaching the Cadia system, they fell back to the Colchizian beliefs, and even worse. Blood sacrifice, demonology, arcane sorcery, everything the Imperium wanted to fight came back tenfold, and Lorgar took it all in, and even sacrificed one of his chapters, the Serrated Sons, to a lie. The void that was left by the Emperor has been carved out by Erebus and Cor Pharon to fit the evil words, and was evolving into the belief of the truest form of evil in the galaxy. So and this is what I want you to understand. So the Lectitio Divinitatis maybe was like normal religions, don't overpower the weak and whatever. And the belief in the pantheon is basically just them being sycophants, doing like blood sacrifices and so on. They came to Cadia, they sacrificed the custodian, they sacrificed I don't know how many people, and what I mean by them selling out the serrated sons. The serrated sons were sent into the warp, and then Ingethel attacked them and made them bleed, kinda. And everyone that survived was turned into a Gal Vorbak. But obviously, like Chaos is, they make the one batch of Gal Vorbak, let's say it like this, they make the one batch of Gal Vorbak, see it's like super strong, it's like extremely strong possessed, like the possessed of 40k are nothing like the Gal Vorbak. And the word bearers are like, oh, this is true power. So they play into the hands of Chaos. They play into the hands of the game, because every other possessed Space Marine after that may be stronger than a Space Marine, but he surely is not a Gal Vorbak. So that's how they fell for it, right? Like, because Chaos always tells lies. Like they told to Typhon and Abaddon and Zadu even. That's how Chaos works. So now we come to the religion part, which was in the disclaimer. So as present day religions have things like don't overpower the weak, donate to the poor, love your neighbor, and so on. The word bearers were the ones who caught a religion and in Warhammer, and we all know Warhammer. Everything is dark, depressing, and pretty bad. They actually needed to do those sycophantic things to satisfy their beliefs. So no, I'm not saying the religious people in this time is the same as the word bearers do. It's just like the word bearers well, religion is pretty much their theme. It's like they call themselves the true believers. So and so they do all the sacrifices in trade for power, but they are not like the Night Lords. The Night Lords did this because the teachings of Conrad Kerr said, well, if you make a couple of people fear you, so they don't fight you, that's why we skin people. The word bearers did that for power, sorcerer's powers, or to get help from the Neverborn. So they basically are what they are made to be, and that's why I adore them so much. It's like, it was many mistakes from the Emperor, but the ultimate mistakes have been made by the word bearers themselves. They are not 100% at fault here. They just bring the hate back they received from the Imperium. It's just like, the Emperor should have just told Lorga from the beginning, man, you are wrong. Because it's like, he broke on he broke at Monarchia, he broke at the curse system. The Emperor, the word bearers are not 100% at fault, but their true descent into darkness was their own fault. So I find the word bearers to be a little bit tragic, and I mean, in 30k they are like amazing. They are the only ones that do all the demon stuff. In 40k basically everyone does that. Every Chaos Space Marine basically does what the word bearers did in 30k. Maybe not as effective, but yeah. They did it all. They do it all in 40k. In 30k only the word bearers, and later the Sons of Horus did it. And yeah, the awesome units like the Ashen Circle, I have some myself, the Gal Vorbak and the Margal are just the cherry on top. Okay, that's been it with the video. Thank you all for listening. Have a good day. Like, comment and subscribe. Share the video. Make sure to join the Discord server as well. Link is in the description, and goodbye.